Hello friends, welcome back to Technique, and today we'll be doing a camera comparison of two flagship devices under two different pricing. We have the newly launched iQOO 12 with us, and we'll be doing a camera comparison with the iPhone 15 Pro. Now you might be thinking why this comparison, because the iQOO 12 is priced almost 50,000 rupees with card offers, while when I bought the iPhone 15 Pro I paid almost close to 1.5 lakh. So that means the pricing of iPhone 15 Pro is almost 3 times the pricing of iQOO 12. So why this comparison? I thought of doing this comparison just to show you how good the recent Android flagships have been in terms of camera experience at a much lower price compared to the iPhone 15 series or even the previously 14 series as well. Now the iPhone 15 is also priced higher than the iQOO 12. Now this 15 Pro has quite similar camera setup. It's also a triple camera setup. Telephoto has 3x optical zoom. Here also you get a 3x telephoto zoom. So it's quite similar in terms of camera setup. So that's why I thought of comparing the iPhone 15 Pro with the iQOO 12. So let's begin this comparison. This is going to be a very interesting comparison. So before that, if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. So let's begin by first looking at the camera hardware. Now the iQOO 12 comes with a primary 50 megapixel sensor, this with f1.7 aperture, and this has optical image stabilization. Then you get a 64 megapixel telephoto lens, and that is with 3x optical zoom, and it can go up to 100x digital zoom. That's first time iQOO is getting this, and it's also the first time in this price segment. Then you have a third 50 megapixel ultra wide angle camera on the iQOO 12. Now when it comes to the camera on the iPhone 15 Pro, you get the primary 48 megapixel camera which can take images in real 48 megapixels. Then you get the 12 megapixel ultra wide and 12 megapixel telephoto which can again do 3x. Now in terms of selfie camera, we get a 12 megapixel on the iPhone. Again, this is a 16 megapixel on the iQOO 12. So that's the camera hardware of these two devices. So let's go straight into the camera samples to see how it performs. So let's first have a look at the daylight captures. So in terms of daylight condition, the differentiating aspect is probably the color reproduction. While iQOO is a bit more warmer tone, iPhone retains more or less natural tone, but that's not a major concern actually. But if you look at the HDR performance, that's where iQOO does much better job than the iPhone 15 Pro, where the shadows are not crushed like the iPhone 15 Pro. Now when you zoom in, you can see that iPhone images are a bit more sharper and detailed than the iQOO 12. But having said that, we would definitely say one area where iQOO does better in almost all cases is the HDR performance. iPhone still needs a bit more better tuning for the HDR, because a lot of areas the shadows are crushed, and you can clearly see, especially in terms of leaves of trees, there are a lot of shadows. iPhone does crush the shadows, but iQOO does an exceptional job with HDR performance. Now moving on to the ultra wide angle camera, here also you can see only differentiating aspect is a slight color tone difference, but otherwise both of these images did really good job. Again, I would say the dynamic range was slightly better on the iQOO. But having said that, both the devices did really good job in terms of ultra wide. The iQOO images are also slightly vivid and brighter than the iPhone 15 Pro. Now moving on to the telephoto lens, here we couldn't see much of differentiating aspect. Both did an excellent job with the 3x telephoto lens. The sharpness levels, the detailing, and overall clarity of both the devices looked pretty good, and again, more of a personal choice, I would say. Moving on to the close-up shots, here this particular image I felt that iQOO did a better job with color reproduction than the iPhone 15 Pro. But overall we would say again that the warmer tone is more predominant on the iQOO 12, while iPhone retails more or less the natural colors. And one good thing about iQOO is that the macros are much better because it uses the 3x telephoto, unlike the ultra wide angle camera on the iPhone 15 Pro. So the bokeh effect on the macro images are definitely better than the iPhone, which uses an ultra wide angle camera. So we definitely like the macros taken using the 3x telephoto on the iQOO 12. Now the good thing about these two cameras are that both of them can take portraits in 1x, 2x and 3x. Now 3x is obviously using the telephoto, while 1x using the primary camera. Now both of them we have taken portraits using both the 1x and the 3x to give you a differentiation of how good the portraits are on both the devices. So let's have a look at the portraits. In terms of portraits, you could see that the iQOO portraits are a bit more brighter, but iPhone retails the natural colors. But one thing again, what was not so great about the iPhone portraits in 1x mode is the edge detection, which is kind of very much average for a phone in this price segment, but iQOO's edge detection was excellent. Now in terms of 3x portraits also, both the devices did really good job in terms of edge detection and color tuning, but the skin tones were more natural on the iPhone 15 Pro, while iQOO was slightly brighter and kind of reddish in tone. Next, let's move on to the low light category. So this again one very interesting aspect. Now low light performance on the iPhones have a couple of years back not as good as the Androids, but iPhone has caught up in low light performance and also other aspects. But now let's see how iQOO 12 fares up against the iPhone 15 Pro in terms of low light experience. Now the low light experience, you could see that iQOO did a slightly better job here. You can see the text in the images is much more clearer and sharper than the iPhone 15 Pro. iPhone 15 Pro low light performance is also good when it comes to 3x telephoto portraits. You can see that the sharpness levels are better than the iQOO 12. Now when it comes to the regular shots, I feel iPhone 15 Pro was slightly lacking behind iQOO, even in ultra wide angle camera as well in terms of low light performance. And finally, let's move on to the selfie camera. Now both of these devices have pretty good selfie camera, but the differentiating aspect here is that in terms of video recording for selfie camera, the iPhone 15 Pro has 4K 60 FPS for the selfie camera, while this still supports only 1080p 30 FPS. That's definitely a disappointing, but again, you pay only 1/3 of the pricing, so you should be expecting some compromises. So before going into the video, let's have a look at the selfies taken with these two devices. In terms of selfie camera, once again, if you want really accurate skin tone depiction, probably iPhone 15 Pro was more closer to that, while iQOO was slightly brighter and vivid images. But again, in terms of selfies, it's more of a personal choice than actual color reproduction, so you can judge based on the images shown, and edge detection was more or less similar on both the devices. So selfies, I would leave to viewers to decide which one you like. Now moving on to the video recording. Now this is the 4K 60 FPS video shot using both the devices, and you can see that both of them have really stable footage, and the colors are more natural and accurate on the iPhone 15 Pro, and while panning, the transition and the smoothness is much better on iPhone 15 Pro with the sensor shift OIS compared to the iQOO 12. So in terms of video recording, we feel the iPhone 15 Pro does have an advantage over the iQOO 12. Obviously iPhones are considered to be the best, probably the best smartphone in terms of video recording, and that's the case with almost all formats, whether it is 1080p format or even if it is ultra wide. In almost all cases, the iPhone 15 Pro maintained a lead over the iQOO 12 in terms of overall video quality. So video recording, if that is your priority, definitely the iPhone wins. Now if you look at the telephoto lens, here also more or less similar, but if you look at the sharpness level, so quite surprised that iQOO was able to maintain better sharpness levels compared to the iPhone 15 Pro in terms of the telephoto lens at 3x zoom, but that's quite surprising actually. But good job done by iQOO in terms of getting more details and sharpness levels. So this is the front facing camera sample taken with the iQOO 12. So this can record videos only in 1080p resolution, so there is no 4K support, which is kind of a missing feature for a flagship device. So you can judge yourself how good the quality of the video is and also the audio output. So this is the front facing camera sample taken with the iPhone 15 Pro, which can record videos in 4K 60 FPS. That's one of the specialties, and the video looks pretty good, so you can judge how good the quality is and also the audio output. So that is the detailed camera comparison of the iQOO 12 with the iPhone 15 Pro. So as you can see, in terms of daylight condition, there isn't much to differentiate, although the iPhone 15 Pro's 48 megapixel camera has better sharpness and detail. The iQOO did better than the iPhone in terms of HDR performance. iPhone's HDR performance has always been its weakness, and it still remains to be the weakness of iPhone, while the iQOO did really good in terms of HDR performance. Now the ultra wide and the telephoto were quite similar on both the devices. We couldn't didn't see much of a difference. The color accuracy is again slightly better on the iPhone 15 Pro, that we have to give it to Apple for giving better color accuracy. But a lot of people would still love slightly richer color iQOO 12, but again that's more of a personal choice. Now coming to the portraits, this is where we feel it's a mixed bag, because iPhone's portrait edge detection using the primary camera was kind of very poor, while even with 1x and 3x iQOO did an exceptional job with edge detection, while the 3x portraits on the iPhone 15 Pro using the telephoto lens was pretty good. So that's the portraits. Now coming to the low light, again I would say iQOO did have an advantage over the iPhone 15 Pro in terms of overall low light capabilities, but in terms of telephoto we could see that iPhone did slightly better with better sharpness and better details. Now selfies, I would leave it to your viewers to decide which selfie you like, because it's more of a personal choice. But again, if you want real color accuracy, go with iPhone, but if you want a slightly brighter and maybe beautification modes and such things, maybe the iQOO 12 would be the better choice. Again, video recording, there is no doubt that iPhone is still the king in terms of video recording, whichever format it be, selfies, rear camera, telephoto, everything. We feel iPhone did have a really good the stabilization, the sensor shift OIS does work really well. The iQOO 12 is not far behind. In fact, for 1/3 of the price, the video performance is definitely good, but one downside is that it doesn't have 4K for the front camera. That's definitely one of the downsides. So looking at the cameras, both are equally good for the price segment. But what we could find out from this comparison is that at 1/3 of the price, iQOO did come closer to iPhone in many of the aspects, and in fact some of the cases iQOO was better. And iQOO is more of a versatile camera. You get a lot of aspects, a lot of filters and options to tune across, so that makes the iQOO 12 a bit more versatile camera at a very low pricing compared to the iPhone 15 Pro. So that was our camera comparison of the iQOO 12 with the iPhone 15 Pro. So what do you guys think about this camera comparison? Do let us know your thoughts in the comment section. This is Nirmal signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.